comes a new challenger!
Welcome back, everybody. We are here with the latest edition of Chain Chumps. I am joined here with my colleague, Mr. Rue Cinnamon. Hello, Rue.
Hello.
And today we are going to be discussing, this is hot press news. Lara Croft from Tomb Raider is going to be a unit that you can play as in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. This is a crossover event. There's going to be a whole event thing surrounding it, so we are going to dig right in. So first of all, when you heard the news, Rue, what did you think?
I'm not a huge Tomb Raider person. Like, it's a pretty established franchise. That past few games have apparently been pretty good. It's in that extended Squaresoft realm of properties. I mean, it was one of those things that I saw. It's like, I see how they arrived there. It doesn't excite me, but I see how they arrived there.
That's more than me, because I did not see how they arrived there. I didn't realize that they did have some sort of relationship between Square Enix and whoever develops Tomb Raider at this point. Honestly, I never played Tomb Raider since the first one. That was like a game that I had on PC. I got frustrated I couldn't get the new codes, so I stopped playing it. This is like adolescent me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You needed to get those big, voluptuous pyramids.
Pyramids, yes. Man, that was the jam back in the day.
Oh, I was just gonna make a dumb, you know, get in the camera right up against the wall, trying to angle it right.
Yep. So yeah, when I heard the news, it was definitely a surprise. So if they're going for shock value and surprise value, it definitely hit me. Now, do I see Lara Croft meshing with like the world of Final Fantasy and all that? I don't, but I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not like, oh, this is bullshit. Like, basically, I don't have the backlash that some people had when they did the Ariana Grande crossover.
No, I agree, and I kind of see it in the exact same realm as the Ariana Grande crossover. Like, mobile games have a little bit of a wider audience and wider reach than your traditional console-bound games or even PC games.
Definitely.
So you can have these little hooks to grab people, and you need these little hooks to grab people. Like, and this is the way these games are designed is you just need to bring somebody in, and if you get them, you get them.
Definitely, and I agree with you. I think this is a hook to get someone who is a fan of the Tomb Raider series, and there is a lot of people that are fans of Tomb Raider. Just because you and I aren't overly big on the series, I don't even think it's the fact that we dislike it. It's probably just the fact we just didn't play it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a lot of games to play. Like, as I said, everything I've heard, the newest Tomb Raider games are good video games. But there's a lot of good video games out, and I don't have a lot of time.
Oh, exactly. So, now, I guess, they didn't release too much information. I'm curious on what kind of unit she's actually going to be. So, obviously, Tomb Raider, 2 guns, the classic tank top and shorts. Like, the sprite looks spot on. I'll give them credit where credit's due.
Oh, the sprite looks...
Yeah, the sprite is great. It's a really good sprite. It nails the character, and I think they got the essence down there. So now, as a unit, how's she going to play? Because Ariana Grande, she was... The first iteration of her, I think, was good at the time, but it fell out of meta very quickly, right? I rocked her for a while, because I was still fairly early in the game when she came out. It had all that event-exclusive equipment, right? That if you got it all, would turn her into a pretty good unit, right? You'd have a mage that had dual black magic, and the magic would chain well with X-Death, he was that dude back then as well. So
everybody's 3-star boy.
Yeah, so, like, you had the combination of those two, you can do relatively well and mill your way through the story of what was available to you. So, I'm curious to see what she has to offer. Now, I think that, like, given the 2 guns and all that, I think she's going to be Emilia-ish. Like, it's going to have, like, that dual-wield if holding guns type deal. I can't imagine her not being dual-wield with guns. But, time will tell, for sure. Now, outside of that, I don't know what she's going to bring to the table.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think that she'll be, like an out-of-the-box dual-wield unit, like, and this is why I think that it'll be that, because it's just essentially designed, like, same with the Ariana, as you said, you were new to the game, that was, newish, you got it, you had a mage with dual cast right out of the box, she had good stats. I know a lot of people who, I got into the game around that time, and I think I had my X-Death leveled up a little higher, so I didn't go the 2 mage route, but I know a lot of people who started around the same time that used it. Same thing when that, I think the last time there was an Ariana Grande event where she had like a 6-star you pull for.
Yes.
That I lucked out and got it, and I was like, oh, look at this. Oh, like dual ability. Like it's, you know, it's got she's got like heals and cleanses, and at the time, if you pulled that, that's a pretty competent healer on your team, and you can go pretty far with a pretty competent healer. So I feel Lara Croft is going to be in that same realm of, hey, you're somebody who just got into the game because you're like, oh, Lara Croft's in this game, nice. I'm going to come in and I'm going to, you know, spend my crap load of I just started tickets trying to pull for Lara Croft. You get her, you have like a out-of-the-box dual-wield unit to help you grind through what is a lot of content.
A ton of content, yeah. Like I don't think there's a better game out to give you that much content for free first starting out. For the amount of playtime, like you're gonna be weeks playing that.
And I feel like this is anytime they do one of these draw people in events, the unit has to be good. Like maybe not top tier meta, but it has to be good enough that this is going to be a staple of somebody who's been drawn in by the game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they are good at that. Like you mentioned, each iteration of Ariana Grande for their events, she was fairly relevant at the time, right? She didn't have that longevity, but it was good at the time. And that's what's key, right? Because if the hook is Lara Croft and she's good at the time, that's going to give you that retention that they're looking for. So now, from what my understanding is, I think she's going to be like a lob ball to get, just like the first Ariana Grande, like beat the first star mission with like you can hit auto with like first loading up the game and get her. So I think Laura's going to be a free unit like that.
Yeah, and that's what I think. Not like somebody you can crush content with. Like probably if you have an Amelia, you're already set. If you have a TMR dual wield, you're probably already more set. But for somebody who's just starting out, like as you said, that's softball. Now you've got a dual wield unit out of the box, and
there's no way she's not going to 6-star, right? So like if all you
100%.
got is like Rain and Lastwell at 1-star and 2-star and Fina, right? Like that 5-star base is gonna be wicked. Or I don't know if she's gonna be 5-star, 4-star base. I imagine she'd be 5-star base. Just to have the sex appeal saying, hey, we're giving this 5-star base unit away for free. We're awesome.
Oh yeah, and I think that's probably what we're going to be seeing, because just based on timing, we are inching towards 7 stars existing in global. So
yeah,
you really can't give away 3 stars and get people excited about it anymore.
No, 3 stars. Like the only 3 stars that are left are like ones that have a half decent TMR. And Warrior of Light. Warrior of Light's still meta. He's still usable, still very viable in 2018. But yeah, those 3 stars, if they don't have like a super good TMR, then they're useless, right? Like kind of off topic, but ideally those 1 and 2-star free summon things, they should just change that to the 3-star summons. Like 3-star and maybe you get a 4-star.
Absolutely.
Like I think it's time to make that shift, because like everybody's maxed out at this point just collecting it. But that's neither here nor there. How do you feel the backlash is going to be, or is there going to be backlash? Like obviously Ariana Grande, that definitely had backlash. Is Lara Croft, that's nothing to do with Final Fantasy, nothing like a Final Fantasy character. That she's more like a real life action hero, Indiana Jones type shit. Like doesn't deal with magic or any stuff like that. Is there going to be backlash because this unit is being added to the game?
I think there's always going to be people who see the worst in things. Yes, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, this has nothing to do with the theme of the game, or, oh, they're just selling out. But the key part of it is, like, as I said, they got to chase that paper. They've got to bring people in. And going back to it, you know, you didn't even, as you said, you didn't even realize it, but a little bit back, the, you know, Square Enix conglomerate bought Eidos.
Okay.
So all that stuff is under the Square umbrella, and Tomb Raider's been doing well for them, as well as, so I think the 2 key franchises from there are Tomb Raider and Hitman. So cross-branding, I can kind of see, since they do a lot of more of these crossover events in Japan, I can see them going, it's like, oh no, you know, this is something more tuned to a Western audience, you know, You know, it's a character that's popular over there. It's going to let us do something different for global. And honestly, I vastly prefer that kind of cross-marketing to something like the one we had earlier in the year with the other mobile game, the one with Rayjack on the banner.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was a garbage banner and it was trying to sell me a different game.
Oh, that was definitely trying to say, hey, check out. It tried to spark your curiosity, so you move over. I believe that's another Gumi product. And yeah, I wasn't huge on Rayjack or the banner or anything to do with it. It did not intrigue me to go play. They did it with Brave Frontier as well. The Brave Frontier units were good, at least. I didn't go and try the game, but like from what I see of it, it looks like it's an okay game, but it looks very much similar to this without the nostalgia of the Final Fantasy characters, right? So why would I play a different one?
Exactly. We're creeping up to this time where, you know, especially if it's one of those, especially if it's raid time and there's 3 currencies going on, I admit I'm a pretty casual mobile game player. I don't want to constantly be on that thing. I don't want to be in there spending my things the moment, you know, I tick up. I try to do it as much as I can, but, you know, I briefly tried the Fire Emblem one at the same time I was around starting Brave Exvius, and it was just too much.
Yeah, I gave Fire Emblem a try, but I wasn't able to play it because when it came out, I had a rooted phone, and Nintendo had, it's like, oh, you got a rooted phone? Can't play. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that was my Fire Emblem experience. Like, you saw the title screen. But looping it back around to, I guess, Tomb Raider and the crossover in the collaboration event. This feels like a collaboration event, right? Like, I found the Ariana Grande feels like a collaboration event. You take 2 totally different things, you mesh them together, and you make it happen, and you make an event out of it, and you make kind of a big deal about it. It's like Brave Frontier. It just felt like every other banner.
Exactly.
Typo, like, same thing, right? Well, that's even bears the name Final Fantasy, right? But the things that don't bear the name Final Fantasy, not too many stood out. Not to say that they were bad, but it didn't feel like a big deal. This kind of feels like a big deal, I find.
Yeah, like this feels like a big deal. Like, I feel like even if you look at the Japanese, they had a whole bunch of Dragon Quest crossovers.
Yeah.
And even then, that doesn't feel that big. Like, it's another Square Enix big tent property. And it feels kind of in the same realm. The Brave Frontier, I agree. I know people who thought Brave Frontier was just another Exvius character banner. Which kind of makes sense because it's from the same design team.
Oh yeah, it's
but,
just
like, yeah, no, this, you know, even if, as I said, it's kind of like one step away from being a Squaresoft game, it feels like a big collaboration. Ariana felt like a big collaboration.
That was a huge deal.
The Nier Automata stuff felt like a big collaboration.
Yes. But touching on Ariana Grande, like I'm going against the grain here. I was a fan of that banner. I was a fan of that happening. I was glad they picked her, or she picked them, or however it worked out. I think, okay, so that collaboration happened around the time where she was releasing an album, right? So obviously there's some motives for album promotion to get a little bit more penetration with a certain demographic. Probably, I would say the Asian markets that would be playing global, because obviously that pop music kind of sells. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't think, like, Gumi or Square is going to give her the bag just so she can be a part of that game, right? I don't think there's going to be any business dealings that are financially incentivized for either one of them to make happen for big money on the line. So I don't think it's that. I think that she did it because she genuinely thought it was awesome and that she wanted to do it. And that's a big deal for her to do that, because she's a megastar. Like, she is over the top of the moon megastar. Like, she dates rappers. She's a savage on Twitter. Like, she's great. Like, I don't like her music, but she is a great singer. She's a great actor. She brings a lot to the table. And the fact that she did this and was involved with it, like, I thought that was awesome.
No, and there's, like, and it's 100% somebody, like, broke down and said, oh, Ariana Grande's interested. Oh, she's said on Twitter she likes Final Fantasy. Oh, she has this demographic of, you know, younger women who are also a big mobile game demographic. Like, it made business sense.
Definitely, right? So now this one here, I guess what's the demographic that they're going for? Obviously the Tomb Raider fans. What is the demographic for the Tomb Raider fans? Is it the same people that like God of War or Mass Effect? Like, what is that demo? Because, like, I never had the urge to play it. I never looked at it and said, I have to play that game. So I'm curious who they're trying to target, or what kind of cross-pollination they have from Brave Exvius fans to the Tomb Raider fans.
I guess my feeling is kind of the, like, non-RPG kind of game. Like, bringing in your mainline, kind of what used to be called the core gamer. You know, somebody who probably, you know, owns a PlayStation or an Xbox One, who plays, you know, who has played Tomb Raider, Last of Us, God, like, those very...
You get the
like,
AAA titles.
Yeah. Somebody who... And that's kind of my thought of that. Because right now, even, like, as we sing the praises of the Ariana, because it brought in a different demo, like, every other collaboration event, like, even, like, I love the Nier banner, like, that's, you know, it was, sprites were great, raid was great, units were fire.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
But it's very in the same realm as somebody who's already going to be interested in Final Fantasy and that style of game. Like, that was a banner for very enfranchised players. Like, maybe got one or two people who were like niche into Nier and was like, oh, I'll play anything with Nier in it. Whereas this seems to be maybe a little bit of a reach out to people who are a little less enfranchised in RPGs and more in kind of that general gaming sphere.
Yeah, like that action shooter, follow that linear storyline path and have like the odd puzzle here or there to solve the challenge and wow you with graphics and good voice acting.
Yeah, and like, I mean, honestly, this probably...
Which you're not getting in this game, by the way.
No, not at all. Not even close.
Like, if you pull CG Lastwell or CG, friggin', what's her name there? I got her. Fuck, what's her name? The other one that has a CG limit burst.
Oh,
Sakura.
Sakura, yeah.
I don't know how I forgot that. But yeah, like, so that's my concern. But I think you're right. The intent is to pull people that's not into Final Fantasy into Final Fantasy, as opposed to the opposite. Because I think with the Nier banner that you touched on, that got me interested in Nier, right? Like, I read into it, and the more I looked into it, the more intrigued I was. I didn't go and buy it because my time is very limited. However, I was very, very intrigued, and like, if I was like a single man without a family and didn't have many things on my plate, I definitely would have went out and bought that game from playing Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, for sure.
100%. Like, it's... Exactly. Like, that did its job. Like, that banner was more for Nier than it was for Brave Exvius. Same with, like, that... the one that had Rayjack on it.
Yeah,
Except, with that one, the sprites were meh, the units were meh, and the raid was meh.
Yeah.
So that definitely shows the difference. This one, I think, is more in lines with the Ariana, where, yes, maybe we're kind of struggling to find the same through line as with Ariana, but at the same time, you said she had an album coming out. I believe there's a Tomb Raider reboot coming up. Like, and Lara Croft is a name. Like, that's a name in video gaming, so... And that's... If there's,
I would say that's comparable to, like, Mario and Sonic at this point, right? Like, especially for someone who was, like, that was an old game when they were first born. Like, Mario and Sonic would just be, like, Mario, Sonic, Lara Croft, Scorpion for Mortal Kombat, whatever, right? Like, it's been a name that's been established for decades now.
Yeah, exactly. And with this, where... You know, this is a game that's about establishing patterns and trying to just get you into play for a little bit. Sometimes all it takes is like somebody who, you know, really even maybe I'm starting to think I'm completely off base when I'm saying like this mainline core gamer, because I'm now more thinking it's more somebody who, you know, fiddles around with their phone. Maybe they haven't played a video game in a while, but played a lot of video games when they were younger. And then they say it's like, oh, Lara Croft, I know her. Click.
Yeah. I agree. I think that it's not to cater to its existing fan base. It's to pull in some fresh meat, right, and help the player base not get so stagnant and stale. Because like, retention's hard enough. Pulling new people in's even harder. But like, you gotta compensate for people kind of falling off too, because like 2018, we did get some good units, but the events and stuff like that have been kind of meh so far. Now, it all changed last Friday with I think the Final Fantasy 15, and now with the Final Fantasy 9. I think those are two pretty heavy hitter banners. Maybe not unit wise, but for event wise and equipment wise, bomb.
Very good. Like 3 solid units. No, like I actually think Prompto can be meta, and
apparently with the global exclusive stuff that they changed.
And like the Final Fantasy 9 stuff is a lot of like nothing that you'd be angry about pulling, but probably nothing to pull hard into. I did because I really like that video game, and you gotta go with what you like, right? That's part of enjoying this video game.
Oh yeah, it's not just trying to chase that rainbow that's gonna break everything, but that's part of it. But obviously, you're a fan of all these titles that they have the cross pollination with, so obviously you're gonna chase the units that brings you back those memories.
Now, you know what I'm worried about though?
What's that?
Is with the way this banner lines up, and you've got a little bit of restlessness from, you know, your really super enfranchised players who want to like get to these really powerful units that are coming up. But you've also got this big risk to your casual fan base, because this is another raid, right? Like,
is it a raid?
Am I something about me watching that video? I don't know why I'm thinking it's standing out if it was a raid. So this is, I'm sure I'm gonna get called out on the comments for this, so I'm just gonna couch it in the, if it is a raid, I may be misremembering and I'm a dum-dum then, but if it is a raid, 4 weeks in a row of raids is so long for triple currency.
Yeah, well, you have the King Mog event, and then you have the raid that are overlapping right now, so that's double grinding. And then if this is a raid on top of it, that's madness. No, I think if they follow the Ariana Grande formula, like, it was farming involved, but it was like, it's like collecting exclusive drop items and then you'd craft them to make the stuff. So yeah, it's almost like that Easter event stuff, right? Like, they drop the items that you need to use to craft instead of like doing a raid grind. So you're using energy, and the King Mog will be done by the next time this one rolls around this week. I know the Ariana Grande one was not painful to get everything that you need, right? Yeah. So that's a double-edged sword, because you don't get the replay value out of it. Like, you don't get that full play value. But at the same time, there's definitely player fatigue, because you have that long King Mog grind, which this King Mog event is friggin' awesome. Like, the Final Fantasy 15, like, you get double hand TMR just for grinding. Thank you. Thank you, Gumi.
Good stuff.
Yeah, no, that's great. And, like, they had a lot of good stuff in there. They had regular Moogles, like TMR specific Moogles, like for Genji Glove, for like, I like that. Now they're a little bit costly. I think they still have to find their way with the value of it, but it's not hard to grind. And then you also have the regular raid, which that's great too, because they're giving you trust Moogles and stuff with that as well now, like legit trust Moogles that you just like up anybody's TMR.
Oh yeah,
so yeah, like the last two banners, like they are just heavy hitters. So I think beyond the, I guess the wow and flash of Lara Croft and whatever she brings to the table, I think the event itself is going to be relatively tame, and to get her event exclusive gear, which I'm assuming that's what's going to be the case, it's not going to be that many hoops, and it's going to be easily attained because of what we discussed, that new player.
Exactly, and I hope when this is this kind of bump, because as you said, we had a little bit of a blip in the past two banners, but 2018's been a little struggling so far. But yeah, I feel, at least the hopeful heart I have, is that they have this one, bring in new players, and then we're going to see a bunch of really good, exciting power banners. And,
oh yeah,
you know, just to create that spike, like, oh, now these new players they've started, oh, now it's been good banners, oh, some of them pulled really good units, oh, now they're invested, oh, we have some of our enfranchised players who've been waiting for this banner for a while, oh, now they're back. So hopefully it's to create a wave, because it's a thing you have to do in this type of game.
Yeah, and I respect the cooldown period, right? Because, like, going in towards the end of 2017, like, you had the Cloud banner, which that was an atomic bomb. And then you had the Christie banner, which that was sneaky good because she's godlike. Like, she's so good, right? Like, you had some motherfuckers come out, like, and the tail end of that. So then, like, once January hits the New Year's, you have the New Year's crap and stuff like that, and they had a modest Final Fantasy 12 banner, and, like, it was all pretty tame. Like, you'd get, like, your 5-star that you could pull is good, and you had the CG Last Ball and CG Sakura, right? Like, so these are good units.
Yeah, you don't want to put out your lit banners during that cooldown period where everybody's like, my New Year's resolution is to spend less money on mobile games.
That's very smart. That's very smart. I never even thought about that.
No, you want that a few months out when everybody's like, oh, goddamn, you know, Lara Croft, oh, that unit I've been waiting for a while. Oh, shit, 7 stars are out now. Like, that's when you want it.
Yeah, come back with that excitement, right? They ended 2017 with a bang, and 2018 is definitely picking up, right? Like like I said, the events were on the weakish side up until the last 2, and then the units wise were definitely decent, but not that meta changing stuff. Maybe Sakura might be the exception, maybe not. And then yeah, I think they're coming with the fire now. So I think we covered everything. I hope we're gonna be pleasantly surprised this Friday when the banner drops. I'm looking forward to Lara Croft. Any closing remarks?
I just say look at it positive, look at it, say, hey, this brings more people into the game you enjoy. More people means they have more resources. This may put a week away from some banner you really want, but there's no need to be salty over some other people getting something they may enjoy.
Yes.
It's easier to be positive about something. It's video games.
Yes, I agree. Positivity is awesome. I think this is going to be a success. I think it's going to be good. I think they're going to hit what they need to do. Thank you very much, Rue, for chatting it up about this new Tomb Raider banner. If you want to watch more, please subscribe to the channel. We have some great discussions as well. You can follow Mr. Rue Cinnamon. I can't talk today. Mr. Rue Cinnamon on Twitter, at Dan Rogers with a D. His Twitter will be in the description below. And we will see you next time. Tried to say something cool there, but fucked off. I'm just gonna edit it out. Or not.